Good evening, race fans. Welcome along to Formula Racing League's GT3 Masters Season 11, sponsored, of course, by Pure Sim Gear, a company dedicated to sim racing racewear. They currently produce gloves and socks with specific racing features in mind. And you can benefit from a discount at the checkout with the code FRIENDS of FRL15 to get yourself a discount on their racing wear. Of course, the gloves and the socks, the pros and the silver winners, they're all sharing the track this evening. Oh, yes. The winner in the pros will receive a voucher for gloves and socks, so they can obviously order the ones in the right size. And the silvers, they will get a set of the pro gloves as well. That is the so that is the sponsors. We're here this evening for round number 4. It is Watkins Glen, an all-time favourite of mine, and it's going to be some phenomenal battles that we see out on track. We saw some lively action at Misano, Suzuka and Snetterton over the pros. As I say, the silvers joining the pros on track this evening. Let me just quickly find the race server. There we go. Up and running. It's Christoph Stachecki. Up and running would certainly be a phrase you could use to describe Christoph's season so far. 3 wins on the bounce. Impressive start, 152 points he has accrued so far, 30 points ahead of D'Angelo. Terence Keenan only a point behind. He didn't take part in round number 3, so when the drop round kicks in, we'll see potentially how detrimental that is going to be for him. Terence Keenan, as I said, only a point behind with that one missed round. He's only 3 points ahead of Benjamin Eck, who in turn only 3 points ahead of Alec Zakdal, who is on exactly the same points as Daniel Tuda, Suarez and Nopek on exactly the same points as well. So it just goes to show you what a job Stachecki is doing when you see just how close the rest of the top 10 is. In fact, Francois Tassin, all in the top 10, all over 100 points. He's only 6 behind Melker Garby. So all still to play for. Watkins Glen tonight is going to be incredible. Martin Ulrich leading the way in the silvers, just ahead of Pablo Cortel. Need to get the glasses on for that one. David Canton in third place, 9 points behind, but again only 2 ahead of Jabadal, who's in fourth. Kotka 3 points ahead of Michael Firth, who's 13 points back, but again the top 10 very close, as he is only 3 points ahead of Demarcus Kiss, who's got 2 on Barry Gibbons. Lewis Robinson inside the top 10, 102 points, seeing him in 9th, 102 points for 10th in the pros. So again, it shows you just how closely matched the leagues themselves are as well. Marco Vela still in the hunt for a good top 10 finish if he can get some more results. The 15th last week looks to be the drop round for him for the series. A couple of top 10s so far. We'll see what he can do going forward. But yeah, 96 points, only 6 points behind Robinson, so very much in the hunt. Let us bring up some actual moving cars. And jump out on screen. My name is John Wright, by the way, aka Double O Raven. Welcome to the Formula Racing League channel. Another whirlwind start as always. Hope you're all enjoying the show so far. Well, as I say, we've got a lot of drivers out on track. The pros and the silvers have been merged for this evening's race. 38 cars we have. Gallo having a bit of an issue at the moment. 11. It looks like it is going to be a split qualifying, so it is the silvers that are out on track at the moment, and it's Nibali who is leading the way for FMP Italia in the McLaren, and he is hotly followed by a trio of Ferraris. First, Vea and Longden. I mean, Vea and Longden are only separated by 3 thousandths, and then we've got 5 thousandths separating Jabadal and Canton, as Canton peels into the pits. In fact, he's only 2 thousandths ahead of Democus Kiss, who's just making his way through the first sector. So 15 minutes qualifying, so it'll be 7.5 minutes each for the drivers, so not a lot of time to get the laps in. Longden goes quicker, but not quite quick enough. So still a trio of Ferraris, but it's Longden that's jumped to the top of that trio. 32 hundredths off the pace he is. I can't really say that's off the pace, can you? If we're being all honest. Martin Ulrich, championship leader, sees himself flying through the bus stop chicane. He will be looking to make ground as quickly as possible, although the timing delta at the minute certainly not in his favour. Good to see the McLeod racing livery on as well. Let me just check this. Good evening, King Phoenix. How we doing? Welcome in. Thank you to everyone watching. By the way, we are on YouTube for FRL this evening. The 3 subscribe buttons right there. Give that little thumbs up a press as well, and yeah, pop the bell on and get notifications. Formula Racing League with racing on rFactor 2, ACC on PlayStation 5 and PC, of course, as we're on just now, and certainly I'd imagine more coming in the future, certainly from the conversations I've had with James in the background. So yeah, and of course on Twitch as well, dedicated channels to PlayStation 5 and to PC for ACC racing on there, and there's Formula 1 as well. Let's see what Ulrich can do. He's only got 0.2 of a second, but it could be enough to see him up a few positions, all the way up to 5th place then, still 0.3 off of where he would like to be. The Salvo Nibali have a final lap in him. And he's pulled over, so all the silvers are in. They have all set times. Alan Brown in the chat as well. Good evening. The pros are all out on track, so let's get confirmation of the silver. I'd love to see that. Look at the split of purple sectors. 2 Ferraris and a Mercedes. None of them on pole position. No consolation, I'm sure, for the drivers, but certainly keeps me excited as a commentator to see the field so ridiculously closely matched with pace. These are the silver drivers, and the top 18 are separated by 1.1 seconds. I mean, 1 second yeah, that's insane. Gibbons here with a 1:44.8 in 18th place, 1.1 seconds. Let's just let that sink in for a minute as the pros warm up their tyres. Incredible stuff. It was Nibali that took pole position without a purple sector. He did it by 32 hundredths ahead of Longden, Firth, Vea and Ulrich rounding out the top 5. Ulrich, championship leader in the silvers, in 5th place. Some very quick times. We'll see how the pros stack up against the times as well, of course. I imagine a few of these are going to be mixing it up at the front. Canton and Kiss on rows 3 and 4. Jabadal will start alongside Kiss with Cortel and Pacman on row 5 for the silvers. Robinson and Patan row 6 with Wezu and Young 13th and 14th. Kotka got 15th again. This is in the silver, so we'll see where they start overall. 38 drivers taking part in this one. And there is Marco Keddy warming the tyres up and getting a flying lap, sorry. Out, in, out. He's doing the hokey cokey. Terence Keenan is certainly doing the hokey cokey. He's on the front row. 143.7, so the time 2700s. There is Basolio has gone quicker. So yeah, we're going to see this change a lot over the next few minutes. So let's just sit back and watch the award-winning times that we're about to see. We'll jump on board with... I don't want to just jump on board. Tell you what, I don't want to just throw it on board with a Ferrari. It is getting a bit out of hand these days for me and the Ferraris, it has to be said. So we'll jump on board with Alex Zakdal. He's making his way up through the S's and on to the back straight. If anyone out there doesn't know Watkins, Glen, and doesn't know the inner loop, you will soon. This is the inner loop, unbelievably late break, and so much momentum getting carried through here, so much care being used by the drivers before they get to the outer loop and head their way down into the boot complex. They've got the chute to navigate first, of course, looking for that little escape road on the right hand side. So much camber on the track, beautiful use of the curves there. Zakdal right on the edge of it there, heads up through the toe. This for me one of the trickiest corners on the track. I struggle with that so badly. Although after making contact with the rear of the same person 3 times in the one race on LFM, I'm sure he would disagree wholeheartedly. That was the heel. Oh, and that was a bit of a lively exit there as he makes his way into the penultimate couple of corners. Again, another corner there, so easy to lose the back end on the mid-engine rear-wheel drive cars. Keenan's gone quicker, Basolio's gone quicker. They're battling out at the top as Alex Zakdal battles his way through the third sector. Past the pit entrance, don't touch the wall on the left. Zakdal looking at a decent time here. Apparently no, he's not, so he invalidated that someplace. I need to get brand new software. Julian Smith, good evening. Oh, should be fun race at the back. Tonight's always fun at Watkins Glen. Michael Firth in the chat as well, good evening. Mr. Floppy Fox, how are we doing? Let's get some pole position time. Oh, let's just let some cars on that. Ostacheki Championship leader in the pros, sitting in third place. And he too pulling off the racing line. Not on a flying lap. It is going well. 38 cars at Watkins Glen. Phenomenal. OWPHS went out with race fuel. Oh, oops, went out with race fuel. I'm going to be honest, I usually do that as well just to get my tyres correct. I can't, yeah, the pressure of qualifying is too much for me. Hence, you're sat there with the steering wheel and the gear stick, and I'm sat here with a microphone and a cup of tea. Solio has just been beaten to the punch. Marco Kerry with 3 minutes to go. 2 to 3 laps maximum. He's got a 10th over the rest of the field. As Terence Keenan goes quicker, but not quite quick enough. Nibali's time certainly standing the test of time. Slightly awkward segue there. Oh, and that is the way to light up the back tyres. Can confirm there will be a flat spot or two. Stachecki absolutely firing it into that penultimate corner. And yeah, really showing what the back of the McLaren can do. He is going to get another couple of runs out. He'll be able to finish this lap and start another one as front row sitter Simone Basolio crosses the line. Doesn't go quicker, the status quo is retained. Stachecki's just come through the 90, he got a 10 through turn 1 and then lost it again. So pivotal is turn 1 here. Melker Garby inside the top 10 in the standings, 13th overall at the minute, which puts him in 8th place in the pros. D'Angelo 9th, Benjamin Eck 10th place in the pros at the minute. See how far he can chomp his way through the field. Alaquia as well had a decent race the last time I was here. I think a couple of incidents. But certainly putting some laps towards the end. Graham Potter right down at the back of the field at the minute. Zewig and Gonzalez joining him outside the top 30 overall. Starting to get to the business end of qualifying now, less than a minute to go. Simone Sperl is about to make a bit of an assault on the positions ahead. 13th place, an identical time to Martin Ulrich, and exactly 1/10 behind Marco Vea. So we now have 22 drivers within 1 sec. In fact, I'm going to give Alaquia, in fact, no, Payton as well. And we're giving 1 minute, 1 second, 0.082. I'm going to declare that a second. 24 cars within a second. Not bad. Marco Keddy is about to make that a smaller number. Himself and Simone Basolio both carrying the same amount of time on the Delta. And Basolio carries it across the line and goes 4,500. I was going to say it's not quite going to be enough for Basolio, but it most definitely is. And he's got another lap as well. Marco Keddy, though, is about to set a blisteringly quick time if he can bring this home. He's currently on a 1 minute 43.30. Is he going to get a 42? He's surely not going to get a 42. We're about to see a 42. The potential is there. Oh no, and his delta's not green. He's lost a bit of time there. What's going on? He was threatening a 42 there. Basolio's red. No one else. Oh no, sorry, D'Angelo and Benjamin Eck both carrying times. Keddy pulls over. He's done with qualifying. D'Angelo, who got a phenomenal result the last time I was here as well, actually, kept his head down, made his way through the field, got a good top 10 finish. He's potentially looking at a top 10 start here. 18th place at the minute. Oh, and in fact, so is Benjamin Eck. He's 4/10 up. D'Angelo again exiting the boot complex. The drivers seem to be having a bit of difficulty bringing it home as D'Angelo brings it into the pits. He's done with qualifying. So here comes Benjamin Eck. Is it going to be the same here as well? Oh, car a little bit out of sorts there on the exit. He's kept that legal though, and he's carrying some time. Oh, this is going to be a big jump in position here. Benjamin Eck just needs to keep this between the mayo and the mustard on the exit. In fact, Dennis Suarez as well could be falling. Oh, he's lost 2/10. Has he found the 10th back again? Here he comes. Benjamin Eck goes from 19th to 5th position. And he's just been beaten across by Alex Agdal. Wow. That is incredible. That is incredible. Let's just get the timetable up on that one. We don't get to see the timetable on this screen. Please let me go back to the garage. Not often you see me messing about in the menus. Let me have the qualifying, please. We'll bring that up in a moment. That was 25 cars within a second. Zagdal getting onto the second row right at the death there. In fact, let's bring this up. I don't know why that's done that. That's really bizarre. There is the starting order. As you can see, Zagdal on the second row, getting the Aston Martin ahead of the two McLarens. Did someone say the McLarens are OP? Yeah, I'm sure the three drivers ahead of them would massively disagree. Keenan and championship leader in the pros, Stechecki, starting in 5th place, Eck and Nibali. I did think his time would stand up, or certainly hold water over the full qualifying session. The silver driver is going to start in 7th place ahead of Tassin in the pros, meaning he's got Longdon directly behind him on the way into turn number 1. They've got Alaquia and Suarez almost snuck his way into the top 10. Michael Firth, 3rd in the silvers, 12th overall, so a good qualifying there as well. Gallo starting in 13th position. Vea and Ulrich, we can see there. Simone Sperla starting in 16th, which is 12th in the pros. Democus Kiss 13th. D'Angelo 14th place. Expect him to make his way through the field. I don't think he got a representative lap there. Pithivier down at the back of the field with Zhuig and Potter. Again, expect them to have some overtaking action in the opening couple of laps. Gonzalez 25th overall. Unlucky Alan, I wondered why you were so far off. Happy with P3 Silver. Might beat some pros here. Indeed. Potentially on the cards. We're going to have a look back at the qualifying, the actual times there. I don't know why. This has changed. But this is, of course, the Formula Racing League Pure Sim Gear GT3 Masters and Silvers, both on track, sponsored by Pure Sim Gear, a business dedicated to sim racing racewear. They currently produce gloves and socks with specific sim racing features engineered in there. Use code FRIENDS of FRL15 for a discount at the checkout, and they are providing prizes as well. The pro winner will receive a voucher for gloves and socks, and the silver winner will receive a voucher for a pair of pro gloves as well. So thank you very much to the sponsors, Pure Sim Gear. And if you do want to get some sim racing gear from them, friends of FRL15 for a discount at the checkout. Will Simone Basolio check out up at the front? I highly doubt it, given how close the field was, which we can't confirm because still can't get in there, so we won't dwell on it. But he's got some stiff competition, as we saw there. Alex Zachtal, what a lap right at the end there, himself and Terence Keening. Nibali, interesting position for him as well. Leading the way in the silvers, with a pro alongside him at the starting sequence, and Longdon right behind him. Michael Firth third in the silvers. Two drivers separating him from second place. We're going to see a whole lot of action. All 37 drivers. We lost someone during quality. But yeah, 37 drivers have made it out of the pits. Everyone's hit drive. Which is great to see. 3.4 miles of Watkins Glen. I love this course. Yeah, I'd love to get a look at the quality time. I think my best time here is a 1:44.9. Literally just into the 44s. So yeah, I would be in the AM category. Oops, there we go. Who we cheering on in the chat, by the way? If we've got anyone in cheering on any of their team members. And what cars do we think are going to do well? Of course, it is a 1 hour race. There is no refueling allowed normally, but this is the Watkins Glen race. This is, of course, the 90-minuter, which I've forgotten, but yes, so half forgotten. 90 minutes it is tonight. So refueling will be allowed in this race. It's the only time in the series the drivers can refuel during their pit stops. We could see a big change up in some of the drivers' approaches to that pit stop. That'll be a nice change for them. Although jumping between an hour race and 45-minute fuel, they're probably going to be running somewhere similar to the amount of fuel that they would be running anyway. And we are, of course, as always, at Formula Racing League, using AccuWeather.com for real weather local settings. So this is the conditions, and it looks like a nice day for driving. It looks like a good day to be a Ferrari driver as well. Simone Basolio is going to see the green light. We've got a drive-through for being out of position. We'll go back down the field and have a look at that. Marco Kerry gets a phenomenal run, and he's got his nose into the lead, into the 90, but it's Basolio that's got the driving line. Bit of contact between Keenan and Zachdahl in the background. Stachecki going side by side, and this is going to put Benjamin Eck right in the hunt as they head up through the S's. You can see Nibali in the background. Oh, there's been a bit of contact. And if they can stay off the racing line, this might not be as bad as they're all suddenly thinking. And one car's gone sideways, and at the top of the S's, that is a whole lot of cars that have been collected in the chaos there. Nibali has made it through, and we've got a bit of contact as well. He's run deep into the inner loop. That's a wayward Ferrari that's gone full Wayne Gretzky there on the inner loop. And Francois Tassin, I believe that is, in the Ferrari. No prisoners taken there as he completely missed his way So he was heading through there. He had the McLaren ahead of him. Oh, and Basolio and Marco Keddy ended up spinning as well. So that is what happened. They've moved out of the way to avoid that. And Tassin has ended up bouncing about against the wall, comes into the inner loop, sends the McLaren of Stachecki stage exit right. Oh, and he tries to come back on the curbs, absolutely annihilating the rear suspension of that particular Ferrari. Christoph Stachecki is leading the way. The championship leader that started in 5th has managed to avoid all of that. Let's just have a look at this from his angle as well. And yes, I am stalling until the telemetry calms down so we can figure out which car is exactly where. But Christoph Stachecki, look at the start he's had. Absolute dream. Alex Zakdal getting it done as well. He's got the head down. Tassin in 3rd. Michael Firth is leading the silvers. Dennis Suarez in 5th overall. Alcuea up to 6th. Marco Vea is in 5th. Marco Keddy has rejoined and he's managed to keep going in 8th. Amir Kashikhtarash at one point was up to 9th position. He's now in the pits. Nigel Longden down to 10th. Simon Sperla in 11th place. Lewis Robinson in 12th. And Javier Gonzalez in 13th position. We're still in replay mode here as we're watching Stachecki and Zakdal exit the boot. I wondered if Basolio would check out up at the front. Christoph Stachecki, hold my beer. We had 24 drivers within a second of one another in qualifying. Stachecki's already 6/10 ahead. That is race pace right there. Tassin in 3rd, Michael Firth confirmed leading the pros. Marco Vea that's Marco Keddy. It's the other Marco Vea. He's in 2nd. Longden in 3rd. David Canton finds himself 4th place in the silvers. Lewis Robinson in 5th position. We have quite a few cars into the pits at the end of lap number 1. I was going to try and be clever there and run down them all, but yeah, let's not even do that. There is quite a few in there. Keenan, Garby, Waizi, Pathivier, Eck, Besselink, Young, Cott, Kiss and Kurtel. Demarcus Kiss already back out, getting that damage repaired. It was Waizi for Vivid Global that picked up the drive-through for speeding, for being out of position at the start of the race. Let's gather ourselves and see where we are at. Stachecki 6/10 ahead as Zakdal. Tassin still in the hunt. Firth potentially going to be defending pretty soon. We've got a stop go 32nd for speeding in the pit lane for Kurtel. So bad to worse on for the opening of the race for the Tyre Sim Racing Mercedes driver. So it's another 2 trips into the pits he's going to have over the duration of the race. We've still got action unfolding ahead, as you would imagine, as Javier Gonzalez, his teammate in the Aston Martin. No defence there from... Oh, he's already got past Robinson. That's a car. That's his teammate coming out in the pits. He's just gone past. He's already got himself past Robinson. There we go, confirmation of that. Nibali now down in 5th position. So he's come through relatively unscathed in the grand scheme of things. Let's just put that in context. A lot of action going on behind him. That is Gibbons and Patton following. That's, as I said, oh, and there we go, a bit of a wiggle there on the exit there by the BMW. Lewis Robinson not looking, oh, and that'll be why then. Because his bonnet doesn't reach the front bumper. That's not aerodynamically sound, can confirm. What was that start? Amateur hour, says Smiley. Yes. The S's can be tricky, and there was a whole lot of collateral damage there. A whole lot of collateral damage. Who am I looking for? Nibali was quick through the boot sector. Of course it is the BMW that he's gaining on. Christoph Stachecki. He will be praying to everything, or certainly thanking everything that he holds dear for that start that he got. 5th to 1st in the blink of an eye. Marco Keddy, it looked like there was contact on the straight between himself and another car. No idea who. initiated said contact. Drive-through for speeding in the pit lane, 2-2-1. So that is another car picking up a penalty. And it's Melker Garby. Melker Garby has gotten himself a drive-through. Jabadal's come into the pits and got his mandatory out the way. Now that's his mandatory requirement, so he's taking on fuel, but he's not going to be doing an hour and 23 minutes in that McLaren unless he does a whole lot of fuel saving. So he is going to be coming back into the pits, but his mandatory requirements have been met. Michael Firth, he is looking to maintain the lead of the Silvers, but he's got a bit of slipstream from Suarez ahead. Suarez finds himself 1.6 seconds down on a podium position. If you asked him before the race or even after qualifying, do you think he'd be looking at the rear spoiler of the podium at the end of lap number 1? Not sure the answer would have been yes, but the sim racing gods have smiled down upon some of the drivers. They've certainly smiled down upon the viewers, because there's going to be some interesting cars, interestingly quick cars, making their way back through the field after that start. Certainly they'll come into contention when the cars that weren't involved come in to take their mandatory stops, and then they'll lose a bit of time when they come in to take their mandatory stops, of course. But it's all about the lap times they can put in between. D'Angelo would certainly have hoped for a better start, given that he's qualifying slightly off pace to what we've seen. Some big movers and shakers on the Porsche. Yeah, of course, that contact he's taken as well. The Porsche not looking as planted as we usually see it at the hands of D'Angelo. Zhuwig in 18th, looking to make an overtake on Julian Smith. Alan Brown finds himself in a 3-wide battle coming up to the top of the S's. That is the Lamborghini of Potter, who's made his way up to 20th position. Zhuwig getting an overtake done as well. It does look like Brown is carrying a bit of damage there as well, as Smith looks to fend them both off. He looks to be a bit of a cork in the bottle, even with the damage that Brown is carrying on the Aston. Oh, it's Potter that's really pestering him there. He's going to have a look up the inside. Brown just holding at the racing line. The Lamborghini's going to need to find a clean overtake to get past. Brown still holding a bit of pace. Julian Smith, the brute force racing team, might need a bit of brute force for the Lambo to get past the BMW that we're watching at the minutes. The Checky is still flying up at the front, but Zakdal is definitely keeping in touch that gap, 0.7 of a second, so he hasn't lost much time at all. Neither Michael Firth. Oh, and he's going to gain some time there as Suarez gives that wall his full attention. He's definitely left a bit more livery on that wall than he would have planned, certainly this early in the race. Both of them into the 90. Oh, in the back of the McLaren looking lively again. Michael Firth could be on for 4th position overall. 0.4 of a second separating the two of them up through the S's, and that was a big contact that Suarez had. He's maintained a fair bit of pace, but here we can see Firth closing in very quickly indeed towards the inner loop. Over the curbs to go. Both drivers keeping it nice and calm. Firth slightly slower through there. Potentially wary of a mistake by Suarez. We see the back end of that car getting lively again, and there it is. Suarez is going to do well to hold his brakes. He's both, of course, managed to avoid contact there. Firth doing well to avoid that contact, and Suarez now stationary at the side of the road. So unable to find a decent position to slot back in, potentially having some issues, and in fact Potter is stationary as well. He's jumped back to the garage. Graham Potter's just had an incident there as well. So that is the Aston Martin of Alan Brown. He's just behind. Coming into the inner loop. So he's still chasing the Aston, so Brown doing... Oh, and he's just lost the back of the car through the inner loop over that central... Oh, and there's an Aston Martin running wide to avoid the Lamborghini. Here comes another damaged car. That is the Ferrari. Oh, it's not easy. He's in a McLaren. He's further down the field. He's into the pits. Oh, it's Pac-Man for Race Nation. Suarez into the pits after that big contact. Basolio still out. Does look like he's carrying a bit of damage. I'm not sure if he did get that fixed or not, but he does have a damaged looking Pac-Man. Packham ahead of him. Gibbons and Patton are battling for 11th position still, chasing Lewis Robinson. He really is hanging in there in that BMW. Surely only a matter of time before Patton gets past the Bally. Has got the move done. So that's him back up to 4th position. Patton and Robinson still battling it out. The BMW driver will do well here to fend off Gibbons for much more time. The fresh looking Ferrari really pressing there. Robinson probably going to be holding out until at least the next 18 minutes. Try and get to the hour left mark so you can at least fuel properly to the end of the race. Not to put too much pressure on the new tyres, but Gibbons is certainly applying the pressure at the minute. Zakdal too, back within half a second of Stachecki, the McLaren. This is what I get for saying that. Yeah, the McLaren's not so OP. We've got Ferraris and Astons and Mercedes in the top 3. Lap 1 happens, and Stachecki in the McLaren. He is out of the front, not checking out though. Tassin 2.5 seconds down with Michael Firth up to 4th. Marco Keddy back up to 5th position with Alaquia having a great start to the race. He's up to 6th. Vea and Canton 7th and 8th overall, but of course on the podium in the silvers. Canton carrying a bit of damage, so could be looking over his shoulder. It is Sperler that's behind him in the pros. The next silver behind him is Nibali, the driver that took pole in the silvers. So we'll see if he can catch up. Gibbons still pestering Robinson again. That is some defensive display from Robinson at the minute. Gibbons still unable to find a way past. Alex Zakdal, fastest driver on the track. As the temperature does drop, it's down to 18 degrees. So we could see the laps get ever so slightly quicker. 44.5 at the minute. Oh, sorry, 44.2 for Zakdal. He really is looking very quick indeed as he exits the boot section on lap number 7. He's got a very good look at that rear spoiler. This is a corner we saw a few cars in qualifying struggle. No issues for these two up at the front. Michael Firth got a good lead now on the rest of the silvers. You've got a couple of pros to make their way past, although Firth does have Marco Keddy closing in on him. Don't imagine Michael will put up too much of a battle there against Keddy. It's not going to affect his race win standing at the minute, and he is definitely going to finish ahead of a few pros at this pace. Quite a few cars still gathering themselves after lap number 1. I think we are down to 36 at the minute. In fact, 31. 31 cars. Potter's come in. He's cleared his mandatory requirements as well. Longdon, who was battling for the top 3 in the silvers, he's into the pits. He'll be getting his mandatories out of the way as well. That's going to be a long old stint. As Alex Zakdal still leading the charge for FRL, still leading the charge for a potential race win here. Stachecki has cleaned up so far. 3 races, 3 race wins. And after my opening saying, oh, it's going to be tough for the championship leader starting where he is, maybe not so much. The field ahead deciding to make it just a little bit easier for him. He's got the race lead. Zakdal definitely not keen to let this one go, that's for sure. They've got a big gap behind them now, 3 seconds. As we come through again, you can see the sun is getting a bit low. No cloud cover, so the temperatures will drop quite drastically. Oh, it's an hour and 14 minutes. I'm maybe not getting too excited. Oh, in the back of the Aston Martin. That was a corner that I did mention as being a bit of a lively one. Let's just enjoy this from Forbidden Chase Cam. Enjoy the sound of the Aston Martin. Oh, really squealing on those brakes. yeah, a little bit. Didn't look as dramatic quite there, but yeah, as a driver that's lost the back of the car through that corner, that was a scary, scary, scary moment there. Sperla closing in on Canton ahead, the FMP Italia driver, looking to make back some positions after taking some pretty impressive avoiding action. Canton didn't quite manage to avoid all of the contact. He's carrying a bit of damage there, so you think Sperla is going to get this overtake done sooner rather than later. Patton, in fact, looking to pester Nibali, the pole sitter in the silvers, is now being hunted down by fellow silver Patton there. The 100th anniversary team driver, another Ferrari on McLaren battle unfolding there. Stachecki still being pestered by Zach Dahl up at the front. 3 tenths separating the two of them there. Marco Keddy half the gap to Michael Firth over the previous 2 laps. So again, a sooner rather and when rather than if type scenario there. Same with Sperla, and I think he's already past Canton again. Canton in the silvers, Sperla in the pros. No point in Canton putting up too much of a battle there, especially if he's carrying a bit of damage. Needs to just worry about his own race. Behind him, he will see Nibali, but he will be buoyed by the fact that Nibali certainly got their hands full at the minute. With Patton pressing the buttons potentially. Oliver Zubig has made up a couple of places as well from his qualifying. The Vivid Global Racing McLaren 14th overall at the minute, 7th in the pros, and does have the forlorn Lewis Robinson ahead of him. Lewis did finally succumb to Gibbons in the Ferrari. Gibbons will now be looking to use all the tyres that he can until he comes into the pits. Make sure he gets a bit of a breakaway from Robinson. Zubik certainly got the pace to get past both of them, so it might not be a bad idea for Zubik to use a bit of slipstream as he goes past. Alan Brown back up to 17th position, against carrying a bit of damage from the lap 1 action. The Aston definitely down on the aerodynamics, and he's losing touch with the drivers ahead. Gonzalez, another driver, will have to take avoiding action on the exit to the inner loop, looking to make his way back up the field as well. There is Potter in and out of the pits in 25th position in the Lambo. He's got himself repaired. That is Joe Young just behind him in the Ferrari. Young hasn't taken a pit stop yet, and it looks like he got through unscathed, but did lose a lot of time taking avoiding action. And just to show you how mixed up the field is, that's why I was looking down there. Louis Pithivier putting in the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:43.8, so we're getting close to quali territory already. But Pithivier, he's been into the pits for repairs, and he does still have a mandatory pit stop to take, but and he's got a bit lively through the inner loop, and he's managed to keep it out with the wall and get it back on track. That's not going to do his tyres any good at all, and that was a very good save. That could have been a whole lot worse there. Coming along the back stretch then, Pithivier, currently the fastest driver on track, and that's not live. That's live shots of his rear view mirrors. He's got the Aston all over his rear. That's not what happened through the inner loop. And it's just that exit curve completely unsettling the car. And yeah, like I say, did well to avoid that. Who is that he's got behind him? That is... yeah, I've no idea why it was showing the Aston Martin in his rear view mirror there. Stachecki, look at these two, still only 2 tenths separating them, with a 2.5 second gap still over Tassin. Marco Keddy has got on his way past Michael Firth. Again, much like the Canton overtake, or the Sperla on Canton overtake, I don't imagine Firth put up too much of a battle. He is leading the silvers at the moment. Keddy is chasing down a podium in the pros. Definitely let that Mercedes go and get on with it. And yeah, keep your head right. And Michael Firth, don't want to curse at the commentator. It's been a great opening 21 minutes for him. An hour and 9 and a mandatory pit stop still to come at Watkins Glen. Oliver Zubig looking very close there. Let's just squirrel our way over to that one. He's got his way past Lewis Robinson. Robinson doing well to defend, and he's already got it done before the back stretch, actually. So Dewig convincingly through. Robinson, another car, carrying that damage. So we'll see if he can fend off Gonzalez, and for how long. Alan Brown is the Aston Martin we saw. For some reason in the rear spoiler. Simone Basolio, pole sitter, 18th place after having to repair at the end, pit at the end of lap 1 for damage. His pace, he's just set his fastest lap of the race, which is a 1:45.2, which at the minute is about a second and a half. Sorry, no, 1:45.2, and the fastest lap is Pithivier with a 43.8. So yeah, about a second and a half off the pace at the minute, which is a real shame considering how close it was in qualifying. Still close with the overall race leaders, and Marco Keddy is getting ever closer to Francois Tassin. We saw Tassin take avoiding action on lap 1. He did gain a couple of positions, but not really much he could do. I think the stewards might be looking at quite a few things on the opening lap. It's going to be quite the fun times trying to sort all that out. As I say, a lot of collateral damage there. Tassin, 2.9 seconds. Keddy is moving quicker. Michael Firth already 2.5 seconds down. Alaquet in 6th with Vea not far behind him. Simone Sperla trying to close in. David Canton with the damaged BMW already losing the position there to Sperla. Patton is ahead of Nibali. So I've missed that one there, my apologies, but yeah, Nibali, pole sitter in the silvers. He was making positions after the last lap 1 contacts, but now he's just lost one there, losing a lot of time through the inner loop as well. So maybe carrying a bit much damage. I'd imagine any of these drivers that did take any damage on lap 1 and are holding out until a decent pit stop to get their mandatory done at the same time as the damage. I imagine we're going to see them coming in pretty soon, like an hour and 5 minutes, an hour left of the race. We're currently 23 minutes in, so yeah, the next 2 to 7 minutes I reckon we're going to see quite a few cars coming in. But then I do spend my life behind the microphone, so I could be proved massively wrong. We can see here the race leaders already coming into contact with some of the back markers. Wow. Well, when I say a back marker, that's Simone Basolio just ahead of the race leader. So on track position, this isn't a sight that would be unexpected. To call Basolio a back marker in this situation is a bit of a strange one. Going to be honest, took pole position, currently running in 18th, and that is Stichecki that is bearing down on him very quickly indeed. There's no... Oh, cars pulling into the pits. They've gone side by side on the exit. That is Stichecki's entrance into the final corner. They've made contact on a straight as they head into the 90, and it is Alex Zakdal that finds his way into the lead. So let's have a look and see now what happened to Stichecki. We'll jump onto the old forbidden chase cam. So into the penultimate corner, everything's fine there. Yeah, so he couldn't quite get his car rotated towards the apex because there was a car on the pit entrance, and that opened up the drag race, and it opened up the Aston Martin to pull alongside and get the nose of the car in front. So it is Zakdal who takes the lead of the race, 14 laps and 26 minutes in. That is Tassin, who's now in the lead of the race. Okay, so Tassin came around the last corner and he was in 3rd position, I believe. Has he... I don't know what's going on. So let's see what's going on then. We'll see what's happened to Stichecki and Zakdal. So Zakdal is leading the way up into the S's. There's Stichecki in 2nd place. Tassin confirmed on the telemetry timing tower he is leading the way. On to the back stretch. Stachecki still chasing Zakdal. They go side by side on the way into the braking zone of the inner loop, which means they're going to be side by side into the inner loop. The McLaren right on the inside curb in there. They've made a bit of contact on the way through, and Francois Tassin has said merci beaucoup, and he's flown on through. And not only that, the contact between these two drivers has not only cost them the battle for the lead of the race, they've just brought Marco Keddy right into the mix. Keddy can't believe his luck at the minute. The Mercedes driver involved in some of the lap 1 contacts. There was a lot of drivers involved in the lap 1 contacts. Keddy was one of them. He's made his way back through the field, and he's now back very much in touch with the podium battle. Francois Tassin was the driver. Who was it that was behind him when I said, yeah, if you asked him at the end of lap 1, did you think he'd be chasing down the podium? The answer probably would have been no. If you asked Francois Tassin if he was going to be leading the race after qualifying, 15 laps in, I'm not sure he would have been of the affirmative attitude on that one either. The NRE racing car, though, is leading the way. Some sloppy driving between the lead duo has opened up this podium battle phenomenally for us viewers at home. Michael Firth still in the lead. He'll be exceptionally glad he's let all these drivers through. Look at that, there's only 1.2 seconds separating the top 4. Michael Firth 2.5 seconds down. He's got Alaquia separating him from Vea, and he's got a 15-second gap back to Vea in second. So a phenomenal start for Firth so far. Canton finds himself back up to third, so Patton and Nibali, something potentially going on there, but David Canton back up. Oh no, Stirling third place. Patton and Nibali, of course, were trying to close back in. Patton got the move done on Nibali. 1.4 seconds separating those two. Francois Tassin out with the last corner to finish lap number 15 and into the 90. Zakdal not quite close enough, but he's going to be very close along the back stretch. As I say, as I've mentioned, one of the most important corners here is the 90, that turn number 1, the head up towards the S's. The Ferrari under pressure, the Aston Martin looking to position his car to get as much pace as possible, and he absolutely has, and he's going to keep Francois as close to the right hand line as he can. Francois is going to return the favour and squeeze him back over to the left. Stachecki and Keddy are going to watch this one. Will we see a repeat of the last time we do not, as Alex Zakdal skillfully guides the car all the way through. Oh, Stachecki's made a meal of it. Stachecki was the driver. So the two race leaders, or the race leader and second place, went side by side through the inner loop. Stachecki losing it ever so slightly. He's made a minor bit of contact with Marco Keddy, and that's dropped the two of them off. So we'll jump on board with Stachecki to watch the battle for the lead of the race into the inner loop. And you can see Zakdal positioning the Aston Martin absolutely beautifully there. Gets his nose in front, but it's Stachecki that runs a bit deep. Not in full control of the car, does give Marco Keddy a cap. Marco Keddy now got Michael Firth closing back in. Michael Firth for the overall race win. Hands up. Yep, I'd be all for that. Zakdal is back in the lead of the race. Tassin second, Stachecki third, Keddy in fourth place, Alaquia fifth, Sperla in sixth, Zubik 7th, Gonzalez in 8th, and Basolio in 9th place in the pros. Basolio's teammate D'Angelo, 18th overall, 10th in the pros, as I say. And in the silvers, it's Firth, Vea and Patton currently holding the podium positions, as David Canton does. As I thought they would come in with an hour left of the race to get his mandatory pit stop done, and no doubt get some of that damage repaired. He finds himself just behind D'Angelo, but that may update, but I'm not taking my eyes off the battle for the lead as Tassin looks to fend off Stachecki. Zakdal looking to break away if he can. He's got 6/10 of a gap, 8/10 of a gap. Can they all make it through the inner loop this time of asking? Yes, they can. The top 4 all through. We're 17 laps in this race. We saw it in qualifying, in fact. Let's just quickly confirm that. I realise this is horrible form, but let's just have a look at how close it was. 23 driver, 24, in fact, there you go, 2 drivers set at the same time. I was right, 25 drivers within a second. 25 cars qualified within a second. Incredible stuff. So yeah, there we go. Just want to make sure we did confirm that. So yeah, it's no wonder we're seeing the racing so close. Robinson and Basolio, again, just after the hour mark there, coming in. They're going to get the damage repaired. They're going to come out. It's going to give them a bit of a gap, but it's going to bring some very quick drivers very close together down at the back of the pack, while keeping some very quick drivers very close up at the front of the pack. Michael Firth within 2.1 seconds of the podium battle. Alex Zakdal within 2.1 seconds of Marco Keddy in fourth. Keddy will be looking very much to keep in touch if he can. Equilibrious gaps at 8/10 as the finish at lap number 18. We've still got 58 minutes of Watkins Glen to go. It's Formula Racing League's Pure Sim Gear Master GT3 Master Series Season 11. Yep, there's 10 more of these. You can go back and watch, of course, here on the YouTube channel. All the racing beautifully back catalogued by the Pink Pig himself, James Williams. So yeah, if you are enjoying the racing action, please do hit that free subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Give the old thumbs up a press as well. Thank you very much for supporting sim racing creators and the league organisers. I'm just looking down the field to see this battle here with Oliver Zewig. He's closed in on Zewig has closed in on Gibbons. These two were behind Robinson. Another driver who was carrying damage and did indeed come in on the hour mark to get that damage repaired and get his mandatory requirements done and dusted. He does find himself behind fellow Silver David Canton, another driver with that early damage. But he dealt with it, stayed out. Now he's got his mandatories done, so he's going to do about an hour on the tyres. But we'll see where he feeds back in when the rest of the field take their pits. Barry Gibbons has been successfully overtaken. Didn't put up too much of a battle against Zewig there as expected. Alex Zakdal is looking to escape away with this one. Tassin looking like a bit of a cork in the bottle at the minute. That is Stachecki and Keddy very close indeed. Zakdal up to 1.3 seconds of a gap. So yeah, the defending by Tassin here playing right into the hands of Zakdal. I'd potentially, if I was Tassin, be letting Stachecki and Keddy through and joining that slipstream train. Being the third car, he will be going quick. As we can see, being the second car, you will be going quicker. It goes alongside Francois Tassin. 2 laps ago, lost this position to Zakdal. And it is going to be Stachecki going side by side. Does manage to keep it just about. Ooh, and is he going to hold it on the exit? He's not. He's going to run deep. It's going to bring Francois Tassin. Oh, he was very nearly back up the inside on the outer loop there. Marco Keddy just biding his time. He'll now look to get a move on Tassin if he can. And Tassin's going to make it easy for him as they enter the boot complex. He really entered the boot complex there. Very nearly exited through that bottom barrier as well. Heading up the hill. Oh, the Mercedes was the car that let go a bit there on the way up the hill. It's not always best. It's not always good to be in the slipstream. Keddy almost finding that one out the hard way as he gets very close in the break in the back of that back of the Ferrari. Not looking as composed as the McLaren or the Mercedes at the minute. Let's see what the timing deltas reflect across the start-finish line. Or do any of these drivers come into the pits? Tassin's tyres potentially looking a bit ropey. He's maybe just feeling the pressure being the filling in this particular sandwich. The Stachecki and Keddy either side. Keddy gives the wall a bit of a touch there. It's not slowed him down too much. It's going to stay as you were, although Stachecki has found 4/10 on the gap that Zakdal was crafting out at the front. Patton inside the top 10 as he finds his way through the penultimate corner. That is Basolio, who is looking to unlap himself. He's come back out the pits in 21st position, the pole position driver. Again on the start-finish straight, bit of contact between two cars. Basolio, of course, entitled to unlap himself. Do need to do it cleanly though to make their way through. Could be a bit of a slap on the wrist for track limits there. We're going to go up through the S's, and Patton does manage to hold the position, but there is Basolio, and here comes Patton. The two of them swapping positions. Nibali, the pole sitter. Oh, never mind. Sorry, never mind. Nibali is in the pits. He was the pole sitter, but we'll jump over to Keddy within a tenth and a half of Tassin, and Stachecki back within a second of Zakdal. And you see over the rear spoiler of the FRL car. That gap definitely getting closer. Tassin now fending off Marco Keddy. Nibali in the pits. We'll see how far ahead he is of David Canton. Canton was in third when he came into the pits by virtue of Nibali and Patton having a bit of contact. So we'll see. And it might even itself out with a lot of the drivers having to get damage repaired at some stage during the race. And of course, but there is going to be a few that took those extra pit stops at the end of lap 1 as well. So, oh, he's having a look into turn number 1 then. Tassin didn't take the best line, but again, the driver around them does find themselves out with the track limits, you would say. Stachecki still 9/10 behind Zakdal. Coming up through the S's again, Tassin being the lead car, punching through the air, is once again under serious pressure on the way into the inner loop. Can the long-nosed Mercedes find his way through? And the answer is very firmly no. And they all get... Tassin looked like he might have had a bit of a wiggle there. Stachecki has kept it nice and neat. And it does say there that Keddy is ahead, so there must have been just literally side by side on the way through the timing delta, the timing line on the way in to the inner loop. This Martin Ulrich coming into the pits. Kotka looking to make an overtake. Another one of the drivers caught up in the early action. Pithivier still the fastest driver on track. Still down at the back. We've seen him with a bit of an off-track excursion. He does still have his mandatory pit stop to take as well. Potter in the pits. He's already taken his pit stop ways. He hasn't come back out after coming in to serve that drive-through at the end of lap number 1. Alex Zakdal now only with a half a second, which is a tenth more than Tassin's got, as Keddy again looks very quick over the start-finish line. Is he close enough to get a move into turn number 1? He is not, as Francois Tassin holds the driving line. Keddy keeps it between the Mayo and the Mustard. This time here's Ulrich out of the pits. Where is he going to filter back in compared to Canton? He's already up through the S's, so good recovery drive already then. And they're both ahead of Lewis Robinson, who's now got a fully factory showroom ready BMW. Although with that type of damage, it's not always guaranteed the car is of course going to be fully repaired. Michael first comes in to the pits from 4th overall, already down to 12th, as we see side-by-side action with Barry Gibbons up ahead. That is not Oliver Zewig, that is Gonzalez. That is a battle for position, overall position, but not actually in class. Gonzalez in the pros does get the Aston Martin back ahead. He'll be looking to get past, well, that's him past Gibbons, sorry. He'll be looking to catch up to Zewig and make an advance in his championship point standing. He's got about 4.5 seconds to make up, and a pit stop to do so as well. Let's see Michael Firth back out in 13th. So that is a very quick turnaround then for Michael. That's nicely done, and that brings him back out in 4th position in the Silvers, with the 3 drivers ahead, of course, still to pit. Does have a bit of traffic ahead of him, but it's not for position, so it should be blue flag as the top 2 come in to the pits and relinquish the lead back to Christoph Stachecki. Marco Keddy now up to 2nd, and these two are going to come in straight away. So just before the halfway mark actually for Tassin and Zakdal, both coming into the pits. So we will see what Stachecki and Keddy both do. Patton still within 10th and a half. Speller's come into the pits. As we said, it looks like more than a tenth and a half, but that was a completely different car. Speller coming into the pits, so he'll give up the position to Zhuba. Gonzalez has stayed out as well from the pros. There he is there, so he'll gain a couple of positions. Barry Gibbons staying out as well. Alex Zakdal already on his way back out of the pits as we see Sperler pulling in. And we're going to see, of course... well, I say, of course, Tassin is slow away. Oh, wow. And I'm saying that he's slow away. He's got a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane. Yeah, that is fairly safe to say that ejects him from the podium battle. And it was a slow pit stop as well, which does seem... Yeah, that is very strange that it was a slow pit stop and he's been given a drive-through. That was the Porsche behind him. There's Marco Keddy coming straight into the pits. We've got some penalties coming in as well. D'Angelo's got a 15-second penalty. Packham has been given a 20-second penalty. Democus Kiss and Longden behind him, so they could gain positions here. Pithivier is looking to make an overtake for championship points. It's Melker Garby that is ahead of him. And in fact, I think he's already got that move done. Oh no, something's gone wrong with Pistivia there again. So another off-track excursion through the outer loop. And it's outer track limits and a 6.8 gap now. So yeah, he was very close to Garby, but couldn't make that one stick. To Stachecki stayed out. Marco Keddy came in. Tassin being reminded he's got the drive-through. That was... Alex Zakdal making his way through, so he is ahead of Keddy. Keddy dropping back down to 10th overall, so he is not ahead of Zakdal. He is going to be ahead of Tassin, though, or is he? Yes, he is ahead of Tassin. So he's slotted back in ahead of Tassin and behind Alex Zakdal. Zakdal has got some traffic ahead of him. Stachecki, the last of the top four to come in and take his pits, and he's stayed out for another lap. He's got Sperla ahead of him in the silvers, the four on-track leaders still to take their pits, but of course Michael Firth was fourth overall when he took his pits. When he took his mandatory pit stop, he's going to benefit from a nice bit of track ahead of him. He's got 27th placed Benjamin Eck, all the way down in 27th for the Porsche driver. And yeah, a lot of penalties now coming in. There is Vea coming in to the pits. Alan Brown in 22nd place. He's been given 15 seconds for causing a collision. D'Angelo, we were aware of. Packham, 20 seconds he's been given, and no one in the active top 10 with a penalty at the minute. Zakdal back up to 9th as Vea comes into the pits. Patton into the pits as well. Gibbons stays out. Smith has stayed out as well. Zakdal moving up positions as you would expect. Marco Keddy will as well. Here comes Sperla. Here comes Tassin into the pits to take his drive through for speeding in the pit lane. It is all happening. Nibali is back out of the pits behind Firth, ahead of Canton and Ulrich and Robinson. Robinson having a good recovery drive at the minute as well, considering how long he had to drive with that damage. 6 seconds down on Ulrich, not too bad. We've got more penalties coming in. That is car 328. That is Longden. So Longden down at 26th overall. Just on the edge of the top 10 of the silvers. He's going to need a good second stint. He's just let one of the pros through, but yeah, Longden picking up 10 seconds there. D'Angelo and Gallo in the pits to take their mandatory pit stop, and so too is Christoph Stachecki. Where is Alex Zakdal in comparison? More penalties coming in as well. Ulrich receiving a 5-second penalty. This brings Robinson right back in the hunt. Alaquia has stayed out. Zakdal comes round at the last corner. Stachecki is still stationary. He's rolling now. He's down the hill. Here comes Alex Zakdal into the 90. Here comes Stachecki. They are side by side on the exit. Is Stachecki going to keep his nose in front? Are the warmer tyres of Alex Zakdal going to see him get the overtake done here? Zakdal should theoretically have more momentum here. He's going to have the slipstream as they chase one another into the inner loop once again. But that is a quick few laps. More penalties coming in. Car 211 picking up another 10 seconds. So we'll get proper confirmation on that in a second. For the lead of the race. They've got some traffic ahead. They've got no one behind. It is Zakdal and Stachecki. Keddy 2 seconds down the road. And with the penalty that Tassin, and he's been given 15 seconds. Yeah, let's get a quick look at these penalties as we watch these two battle. Stachecki out the pits on the fresh tyres. And is that going to give him a big advantage in the closing stages? 42 minutes of this one to go. Alan Brown having a connection issue at the minute. He's got a 20-second penalty. Packham with 20 seconds for new. Ulrich has got 10. Tassin drive through for speeding in the pit lane, and he's been given 15 seconds. And there is Gonzalez been given 15 seconds as he comes into the pit. So he's got that at just the right time because he will serve that in the pit stop. He won't get that added to his time like the drivers that have already taken their mandatory pit stop. But Stachecki finding his feet very quickly on his way out on the pits. He does find some blue flag traffic on his second lap out. Yep, he'll be flashing the lights and looking for the overtake through the inner loop. We'll jump back up to here. Oh, Zakdal got a bit brave there. That was a fair bit back. Gonzalez, he's in the pits and on his way back out again. Kiko Gallo, it wasn't the driver of the penalty, so Longden. Pithivier has really not had a good race considering the pace that he's shown. He's had another incident which sees him, despite having taken his pit stop. Yeah, he has lost even more time with Melker Garby ahead, so he's had another incident of some description. And Eck, of course, one of the top 10 sitters in qualifying, back at the back of the field, and still got his pit stop to take. So yeah, going to be a long 40 minutes for these drivers, but they will make it to the end. Dennis Alaquia comes in from the on-track lead, and Stachecki, 1.3 seconds is now the gap. Marco Keddy finds himself just behind Julian Smith, who was running in 4th. He now comes in to take his pit stop. Tassin has just gotten past, is that Vea? Yes, it is. So that is Vea, and that is for position. Alaquia comes in to the pit, so that's going to put Stachecki back on top. Zakdal second. Keddy in third. Michael Firth up to 4th. And leading the way in the silvers. We'll see where Smith comes back out. It's very close still right through the field. as Peyton pressuring Canton. This could be, oh no, they've got 4 drivers ahead, depending on where Smith comes back out. This is for 4th or 5th, potentially 6th. So we'll see how they go on. Julian Smith on his way out of the pit, so he is going to fall behind these two. So that is confirmation there in 2nd. Is Nibali back up to 3rd? Yep, he's already on his way up through the S's. Smith still just being released, in fact. So he's coming back out in 17th place behind Robinson. So that is it just goes to show you again how close the field is. Incredible. Stachecki 1.2 seconds now ahead of Zakdal. Kerry still on the podium, and it is in the closing, or into the 2nd stint now. It's first. Still leading the way in the silvers. Marco Vea in 2nd place, and Nibali back up to 3rd position. Canton 4th, but he's got Alper Peyton very close. In fact, I think Peyton's got the overtake done. Yes, he has. Let's have a look and see. Oh, and it's not so convincing through the inner loop. Oh, and he's done well to hold on to the BMW again. Those curves, we saw it do it to the Ferraris earlier on. You really do not want to hit them at the wrong angle. It will really test that rear suspension. The BMW driver doing well to hold on to the car, but he couldn't hang on to 4th position as Peyton makes their way through. Gibbons and Ulrich closing in now on Canton as well. So you're a very busy first stint. He's going to have a busy 2nd stint as well. So too Gibbons, in fact. A lot of action went Gibbons' way as well. He's got Ulrich behind him, one of the championship leaders in the silvers. So it's going to be a long 37 minutes for Gibbons if he's going to fend off Ulrich for the closing stages. Although, as I actually pay attention, Ulrich, one of the drivers with a penalty, so he needs to not only get the overtake done, he needs to put 10 seconds, or just over 10 seconds between himself and Gibbons, and that might be a bit of an ask with only 38 minutes to go. But it is Watkins Glen, all things are possible. Just like Stachecki, qualifying in 5th. Finishes lap 1 in the lead. We've had 5 different race leaders so far. And Stachecki, this is his 2nd, 3rd time leading the race. So yeah, he will be loving it, and it'll be back-to-back wins. Will put him firmly ahead of the pro field, that is for sure. Zakdal still in 2nd with Keddy still in 3rd. And I was looking down to Oliver Zewig. He's had quite the race as well, but it's Sperla who is ahead of him. Zewig within 4/10, and Nibali, the quickest silver driver in quali, he's in 3rd, and he's hunting down 9th place. It's going to be quite the drive if he can catch up to Vea ahead of him. He's got Zewig, Sperla and Alaquia ahead of him as well. Zewig and Sperla definitely got the pace to get caught up. Alaquia, just having a look to see, he's made up quite a few positions in quali as well. And that's a blue flag that he's just going past there. But 7th place, 4.5 down on Marco Vea in the silvers. But he is moving that about a 10th or 2 quicker than Vea on average at the minute. So might well catch up in the closing stages. Ulrich still not past Gibbons. Basolio back up to 18th position after that being involved in the lap 1 contacts. There was up through the S's, 1 car sideways, and there's a whole lot of cars as collateral damage. He's got Smith, who we're not long seen taking his penalty, pit stop, one of the last drivers to take their pit stop, in fact. Came back out in 17th. Basolio looking to get the move done there. It won't earn him any extra points in the championship, but it will get him 1 car closer to Gonzalez, who is currently got Benjamin Eck trying to unlap himself in the Porsche. Into the inner loop. Basolio almost making contact with the back of the car. I was looking for Gonzalez as well. There he is. As I say, the Porsche here looking to unlap himself. Ulrich looking to make positions still. No way past him at the minute. And Nibali really is using that slipstream to catch up to Zewig and Sperla. Zubik still looking for the overtake for position. Nibali still looking for the overtake for pride. Zagdal has found 7/10 of a second over that last lap to bring the top two back to within half a second of one another. So almost an hour complete. Marco Keddy certainly not out of touch on this one either, that's for sure. The Mercedes, let's see, 2.1 seconds down at the minute. He was, he was only a tenth slower than Zagdal on that last lap and 3/10 quicker than Stachecki. So that is quite the drive he's putting in. We'll see what the lap times say here as the top two. Again, half a second separating them. Stachecki trying to break away. He's put in a phenomenal race so far. Nibali was within half a tenth of a second of Zubik on the way into the inner loop. Couldn't get the overtake done though. It's put Zubik into defensive mode and it's given Sperla a bit of breathing space. Not much, but just enough for this lap it seems. Gonzalez and Smith doing battle still for position as well. Gonzalez trying to catch up. In fact, I think, Gonzalez has got the move done, in fact. Oh no, he's not, sorry, there's Julian Smith there, that's a blue flag. So he is still chasing Smith. Oh, and Smith has just run very deep there on the way into the boot complex, and that is the McLaren very quickly giving up that position. That is Young in 25th looking to unlap himself. But Smith there losing out on that position sooner than I expected anyway, to Gonzalez in the Aston. Up at the front, Zagdal and Stachecki still leading the way. Zubik still the closest, or is now the closest to making an overtake. On the last lap, it was Nibali who is now behind Payton. So let's see what happens here then. Up through the boot complex, Nibali. It's got one of the cars. Is that Payton just making his way through? Wow. So Patton then absolutely flying behind these drivers is caught right back up. I thought there must have been a mistake because that gap looked a bit bigger a couple of laps ago. But yeah, I'm saying that Zubik is looking likely to get an overtake soon. Patton keeps this pace up. He's going to join these two and get past both of them very quickly indeed. Ooh, and a bit of a wiggle there on the exit to the 90 for the McLaren. Or the lead McLaren in that battle, sorry, Sperla. He did manage to hang on to it, and Patton has wasted no time catching up to Zubik. Basolio all over the back of Robinson as they have the great white shark. Looking to unlap himself, so he's extricated himself from the battle. That is Benjamin Eck down in 27th place, so he's managed to get himself ahead. Basolio has got himself ahead of Robinson as well. Robinson quickly getting out of the way. Zubik, is he getting the overtake on this one? Oh, and they're all running wide there. Zubik running very wide through turn number one. Patton is still closing in. Let's see what happens with Zubik. So through the last corner, both McLarens absolutely fine. Into turn number one. Now, how close does Zubik get under the slipstream? Certainly not close enough, unless he's just a bit late on his brakes. Yeah, you would expect that to be a track limit violation. Oh, and we've got more penalties coming in. Car 216. That is Gonzalez being given 15 seconds. And there is Benjamin Eck moving slowly through the outer loop. So let's see what's happened there. Okay, I think he was just getting out of the way for faster traffic. Yeah, that's Simone Basolio. Oh. And again, over the curbs, the rear suspension, no car is a fan of that. Lewis Robinson will be a fan of the extra position. But through the outer loop, Benjamin Eck. Oh, and there's a clumsy bit of contact there. Benjamin Eck drives past that one. That's Melker Garby that was involved in that one there, I think. We recognise that Ferrari is the car in 17th position. No, it's not. It's Julian Smith in 18th. So it was Smith in 18th. Oh, Benjamin looking a bit squirrely there. He sees the Porsche again. Oh, this is for position, in fact. Oh, so the McLaren a big look up the inside. And they've made a bit of contact there on the exit. Garby losing out double positions there. So the stewards potentially having a look at that one as well. They've had a very, very, very busy evening. Stachecki, he's had a busy evening as well, that is for sure. It's not quite so busy at the minute. 1.9 seconds is the gap that he finds himself with. And in fact, the gap from second to third is now less than the gap from first to second. It's been a while since that has been the case. Zubik still trying to get past Sperla for 6th and 7th in the pros. That'll bring them 8th and 9th. And Patton still hanging into that battle as well. So this battle's still raging on. Vea as well, fending off, looking to get an overtake done on Tassin. Tassin out of the pits, he's carrying that penalty as well, and he's coming under serious pressure from Marco Vea then on the way into the inner loop. Vea not quite close enough on this go around, but certainly signalling to Tassin that he'll make a move if he can. Tassin losing the back of the car on the way into the inner loop. Finds himself stationary and returned to garage. Oh, potentially had the mechanical failure or some kind of issue with his wheel. Because, yeah, return to garage there. That's going to be a hold for 2 minutes. Before he gets released again. So that is going to massively hinder him. And the 15-second penalty. That is... wow. That is a race changing for quite a few drivers. Kerry within 1.1 seconds still. The gap to Stachecki up at the front is increasing as Payton, look at the pace that he's got over Zubig ahead. Patton actually flashing his lights to try and get past the pro driver. He's going to have a look on the exit to the boot. That is a brave place. I know myself, it's very easy to make contact with a car ahead of you in that corner. No contact for Patton. Keeps it between the Mayo and the Mustard. Keeps the McLaren missile ahead of him. Well and truly in his sights. The Ferrari trying to hunt him down. Canton now, in fact, hunting down Nabili. So I'm not sure if Nabili is having some kind of issue. He took pole in qualifying for the silvers, but he's just been easily overtaken by David Canton. That is Canton up to 4th position in the silvers. Can he make any impression on Patton's lead now that Patton is stuck in this battle with Zubig and Sperla? Let's keep an eye on the timing up ahead. Look how quick Patton is. He's surely going to get this overtake done sooner rather than later. He's shown the inside line, or he takes the inside line, makes sure he holds the middle ground to keep Zubig as far over to the left hand side as he can. Patton though, oh, and he's half backed out of it. I don't know if there was contact there, but there was definitely contact with the wall. But Patton, he certainly went for it on the run up the S's. He was firmly in that slipstream. By the time they got onto the back stretch, wow, he really hit that curb on the left, almost unsettled the car. He had way more pace at the top. It almost sounded like he lifted there so as not to make contact. He is side by side. Oh, and he's just slightly unsettled the car on the way through the curbs. Not the ideal line. And that has put Patton not only out of the battle for 4th position. Yeah, that's put him right outside the top 5 in the silvers. That puts Canton into 3rd place. Vea in 2nd. Michael Firth still in 4th place. Vea in the silver. So we've got 2 silvers in the top 5. Incredible drive there. Alaquia taking some avoiding action as well. He finds himself in 6th, right on the back of Vea. Zhuwig still all over the back of Sverla. Patton now in 13th, right behind Barry Gibbons. Gibbons, again, a driver that's had quite the race so far. And Nibali has all over the back of Canton, although just as I say that, I'm going to jump on board. He runs wide of the track limits. So he's going to need to watch that. Zhuwig and Sperla within half a second. Marco Keddy closing to within a second of Alex Zakdal. As Stachecki is now 2.3 seconds up the road. That is all the action all the time. Pithivier still got the fastest lap of the race, along with a 10-second penalty, 5 laps down on the leader. Democus Kiss coming in to the pits, another driver affected by the lap 1 incident, so he had to come in and get damage repaired. Took his mandatory, then will of course need need to come in to get some more fuel to make it to the end of the race. So another splash and dash there. Tassin has come back out of the pits, back out in 25th, ahead of Nigel Longdon. The 2 of them carrying penalties. Not sure he's going to get the position on Kiss as well. Potentially, but up at the front. In fact, Zhuwig still in 8th place. Canton and Nibali still battling it out for the final podium position behind them. Ulrich with that penalty, so he's going to lose positions to Gibbons and Patton anyway. Basolio back up to 14th after dropping down to almost the back of the field at the end of lap number 1. Alaquia still over the back of Vea, and Keddy certainly applying the pressure to Zakdal ahead. And they've found, oh no, they've lost another 10th to Stachecki ahead, in fact. Oh, in fact, no. 5 thousandths of a second, 15 thousandths of a second, sorry, separating Stachecki and Keddy's time. Zakdal slightly quicker than both of them. Half a tenth, an almighty half a tenth separating their lap times. Nibali and Canton, yeah, they're still close. Alaquia, in fact, could not be much closer through the timing line. To start sector number 2. Through sector 3 back to 210s. Can he guide his McLaren past Vea? Vea doing well to hold off the pro at the minute. He's got 2nd place in the silvers, so definitely doesn't want to do anything too risky. He's going to bring home a podium. Jumping back on board with Keddy. Let's see what he can do into the inner loop. Not quite close enough. Oh, and Aston Martin's almost lost it. Alex Zakdal there through the inner loop. I was fastidiously watching Marco Keddy there, and it's Alex Zakdal. Makes himself a bit of a mistake there, and he got a good exit out of the 90. And he'd done exactly what he needed to do, stretched out as much as he could along the back stretch. Everything that was looking fine, but the curbs through the inner loop, card carrying killers. Oh, far too, yeah, way too far over to the left hand side on the way in, and there goes the Mercedes. Marco Keddy up to 2nd place then. Basolio now all over the back of Patton. We've seen how quick Patton is so far, but Simone Basolio took pole position in qualifying. So yeah, these two effectively could be battling for the lead of the race. They were both leading their class at the end of qualifying. Neither were leading their class at the end of lap number 1. And Patton is carrying a lot of damage. Let's have a look and see if we can catch what happened there. Oh no, he's already got the damage there. So Patton carrying a whole heap of damage. We might see him back into the pits. So yeah, Basolio is going to make short work of that, much like Keddy did when Zakdal lost the back of that car. Zakdal has managed to hang in there. Michael Firth still holding on to that race lead in the Silvers. Vea still holding on to the podium. Oh, as they're all getting a bit lively through the inner loop now. Oh, and the McLaren going sideways there. They will be pleased to see that. Alaquia struggling to hang on to the car. Sperla just about hanging on to 7th place, which is 5th in the pros with Oliver Zewig. Still trying to get the overtake done there. Canton still got Nibali in his rear view mirror. Oh, and there's a big contact coming out the last corner. I saw that in the background there. That is Patton. So the race going for bad to worse there from Patton. Basolio going to very quickly get that move done there. Patton carrying a bit of damage, and he really was on the limit. Well, he was over the limit because he hit the wall on exit, let's face it. Oh, he's already way too quick there. Carried far too much momentum right on the curb, and bang. That is a big contact with the wall. Simone Basolio. There he goes. Gets that move done. So bad to worse in the closing stages for Alper Patton. That won't affect his points tally, of course. He's in the silvers. Basolio in the pros. But I'm sure he would have liked to have kept Basolio behind him for as long as possible. Marco Keddy looking to keep Zakdal behind him for as long as possible. Can Stachecki bring home yet another race win? 16 minutes left to go, and it's Stachecki leading the way in the pros. Marco Keddy in second, Alex Zakdal in third place, and in the silvers it is Michael Firth in first, Marco Vea in second, and David Canton in the BMW in third place. He's got Nibali just behind him. And Nibali, of course, as I keep saying, took pole position in the silver qualifying. And now finds himself in fourth. Can Canton bring home a podium? We will certainly see. Remember, if you are enjoying the racing and you want to get involved, the links are in the description, or should be in the description for the Discord and the SimGrid host page website. A whole lot of racing going on. Let me just put that there and put that. Oh, that's Gibbons and Basolio. Look how quickly Basolio's got caught up to Gibbons. Gibbons not putting in too much of a fight there, unsurprisingly. Again, they're in different divisions. Oh, and we've got a penalty coming in the closing stages. Oh, that's Kotka. Down in 22nd overall. Picking up 20-second penalty. Packham up to 20. Brown 20. Gonzalez 15. Ulrich 10. Nibali 5. And Sperla 5. Stachecki just blue flagging past a couple of cars. Let's see if there's any more penalties. Further down the order, Weezy, of course, stationary in the pits. Longden, Kotka, Packham, Brown, Gonzalez, Ulrich, Nibali, Sperla, all carrying penalties over the finish line. A finish line which is only 14 minutes away. What a race it has been, and the championship standings are going to get turned on their head with some of these results. It's round 4 of the Pure SimGear GT3 Masters Season 11, brought to you by Formula Racing League, sponsored by Pure SimGear, who are awarding the pro winner gloves and socks, and the silver winner a set of pro pair. A pair of pro gloves as well. That's easy for me to say. So thanks again to the sponsor. And yeah, some incredible action that we've seen so far, and we've got 13 minutes of it left to go. Zubik and Canton still battling it out on track. It's not for championship points, and Nibali not far behind Ulrich, and they're closing in on Nibali, but those two both got penalties, so Gibbons and Patton are going to be promoted position as well. Robinson just outside where he needs to be to benefit from that position. You see one of the cars having a bit of a wiggle there in the background. I think that was, in fact I know it was Nibali, as we're on board still with Canton. Let's see they make their way through sector number 3 once again. So close between Zubik. He's had some serious driving to do so far. Himself and Sperla both have, and they've done it magnificently. They've got themselves back up inside the overall top 10. 2 silvers still ahead of them, so 5th and 6th is currently in contention between the two of them. There is Basolio in the background as well, actually, now that he's back up to 12th place. There he is, only 3.2 seconds down on Ulrich. So yeah, quick bit of maths. He is still potentially in the hunt for a decent finish. He is absolutely flying at the minute. Quick bit of maths. Helps if you unmute the microphone. But yeah, but Basolio, long and short of it, he's definitely in the hunt to improve on position based on some of these penalties and the action that we've got going on. As Canton looking very quick there. What have I missed while I was looking at the timing? Let's have a look back here and see what's happened. Zubik getting overtaken there by Sperla, so I feel like I've missed something as I looked away. David Canton definitely benefiting from that, though. Zubik finds himself in the middle with Nibali watching this one in the background. Sperla was at the lead of the group here, but Canton gets the overtake done there as well. No damage, or no more damage certainly, on Sperla's car. So I wonder if someone's... Oh no, don't do that. I wonder if someone has touched the wall on the way at the last corner. Oh, very close, but no contact. But Sperla is still behind Canton. Canton having a big look into turn number 1. So much better on the brakes there. And yeah, just used the slipstream and got him done on the brakes. Nibali is behind watching that one. Marco Keddy is within half a second of the race lead. Wow, so the race lead is still up for grabs. D'Angelo hunting down Gallo for championship points. They're both in the pros. Smith hunting down Gonzalez on track with that 15-second penalty. It means he'll be finishing ahead of him. Anyway, that one's not for position. Zhuwig and Sperler, they continue their battle with Canton. That's 3 silvers in the top 7. And in fact 4 in the top 10. So it's a great drive there, and those positions might still change with Ulrich now closing up to the back of Nibali, who's right on the back of Zhuwig, who's again testing those track limits. Really don't want to be picking up a drive-through. He's got the drop on Sperler anyway, by virtue of the fact that Sperler has got that 5-second penalty across the line. Marco Keddy's within 3/10 of the race lead. We're 45 laps into this, and it is 3:10 separating the top 2 into the 90. Stachecki is going to be full defensive mode here. 1:44.2, both of them doing exactly the same lap time on that previous lap there. Zhuwig still all over the back of Sperler, really all over the back. Sperler got his teammate Nibali there to potentially help him out a bit if he can. Ulrich still popping his nose in the Aston as well. Basolio getting ever closer. 7 minutes left to go. He's only 1.8 seconds down on this battle. So he's going to gain quite a few positions through penalties and could get a couple done on track as well if these 3 keep battling this way. It does look like Sperler a bit of a cork in the bottle at the minute. Let's see where Marco Keddy is. He is all over the back of Stachecki. Oh, and they're coming right up to the back. That's Francois Tassin. So there we go. Francois Tassin just pulling over to get out of the way from 25th position. 10 laps ago, he was right in this battle. And now he's being blue flagged. So yeah, that return to the garage, never a great idea. As Young just pulling over as well to let some of the blue flags through. He's carrying the yellow flag. I'm not sure if he's got damage. We'll check that in a moment. We're going to stay on board, of course, with the battle for the race lead. Can Stachecki fend him off? Less than 7 minutes to go, so way less than 7 laps, that's for sure. 3/10 of a second as the exit the final corner. The Bally and Ulrich. Oh, and that's a touch of the wall for Keddy. It's not robbed him of as much momentum as Stachecki would have liked, I'm sure. Through the 90, both of them hitting that apex beautifully. Gonzalez still trying to find his way past Smith. Basolio has caught right up to the back of this group. He's gone from first to almost last to hunting down a top 10 finish. He's closed in on Sperler and the gang, and they might not be too grateful that he did, as we can see the Aston Martin now being full hurried along. Zhuwig's run deep on the way through the boot section, and that has put the FMP Italia team, both cars ahead of him, Sperler and silver driver Nibali. Again, they've got penalties, so they're going to lose the position across the finish line, but they've certainly got it on the track at the minute. And I tell you what as well, Michael Firth. Let's just have a look and see. Michael Firth has just gone past Alex Zagdal to take third in the race. Keddy's potentially got an overtake lined up against the Czech. No, he doesn't. Let's see if we can see what happened to Alex Zagdal. Oh yeah, no, it was before this. But yeah, 1 minute 48.3. So 4 seconds down on his own fastest lap there on that last lap. He's lost a lot of time. Michael Firth, leader in the silvers, finds himself on the overall podium, as the overall race lead could be handed to him, given that Keddy and Stachecki are so phenomenally close through the inner and outer loop. That is Gonzalez, a Tire Sim Racing in the Aston, just ahead of them, coming down into the boot complex. And that is very nicely done by both of them. There it is, Michael Firth. Zagdal's guarded himself, so whatever problem Zagdal had, he seems to have righted it. It's not like Firth is running away, so hopefully Zagdal not carrying too much damage, if any at all. Maybe just a bit of an off-track excursion. But Michael Firth, whatever it is, he won't mind. Third place overall as these two nose to tail again through the inner loop. 48 laps done and dusted. We've got a tenth and a half separating the top two as they chase their way around the Watkins Glen track. I love this track for racing. Hopefully the drivers are enjoying this as much as we are. Schubig, Basolio, Ulrich is behind Basolio. Basolio up to 11th overall. He's now looking for points paying positions with Oliver Schubig ahead of him. And I think he's going to get one on Sperla anyway, because Sperla's got the 5-second penalty. Marco Keddy gets shown the outside line. The McLaren stays on the marbles on the inside. He wants that apex to get the run up the hill, to hold on to that position for another lap if he can. Can Keddy get it done into the 90 on lap number 49? Nabili all over the back of Sperla still. Basolio having a phenomenal race in the closing stages as well. He's had a phenomenal race since lap number 2. It was just lap number 1. As we're going to see Ulrich looking to retake the position, surely he's going to get a lot of slipstream assistance there as Basolio, very little defence once again. If you're in the slipstream up through the S's, it's usually game on. Basolio absolutely flying on through. Nabili now separates Basolio from his next points paying position as we see Keddy still within 2/10 of the race win. Michael Firth is 15 seconds down the road, but I'm sure he will be absolutely delighted to be bringing home a podium. 2 podiums in fact. The race win. Drive through for track limits. Oh, that is Francois Tassin. No, it's not. It's Louis Pithivier. Fastest driver on the track, and he's been given a drive-through penalty as well. So a race to forget, I'm sure, for Pithivier. That is definitely a tough one. Marco Keddy still within 2/10. He's still within 2/10. Basolio is already well within a second of Nabili, and Nabili is actually looking quicker than his teammate Sperla at the minute. Sperla again is going to lose that position to Basolio by virtue of the 5-second penalty. So yeah, back up to 4th place for Basolio. What a comeback drive that is. Absolutely phenomenal. Can he get the position on track? Oh, he's looking very quick up there. And in fact, again, yes, Sperla is looking the slower out of these 3 drivers, if we're being honest. Nabili looking much quicker than his teammate. He could be compromising his own podium charge. There is the confirmation that the leader is on the final lap. Basolio. Oh, he's just set up a cutback attempt through the inner loop. He's lost the Ferrari on the exit. He's managed to gather it up. But that is Nabili doing exactly what his teammate needed him to do there. I don't think it's quite going to be the 5 seconds that he needs, but we will watch the race leaders bring this one home into the back stretch. 50 laps, and these two still only separated by a 10th and a half. Will it be the inner loop that separates these two? It almost is, but they've both managed to keep it between the mayo and the mustard somehow. Marco Keddy looking for what would be an incredible race win. Stachecki as well, qualified in 5th in a field that had 25 drivers within a second of pole position. Stachecki started in 5th, finished the first lap in the lead. Keddy up to 2nd in the closing stages. Are we going to see a big overtake at the end, or can Stachecki in the McLaren fend off Keddy's advances? Keddy popping into the slipstream, signalling his intent at every approaching apex. And they are approaching the final 2 corners. Here we go then, 14-degree track temperature, an hour and a half of racing, 51 laps about to be completed, 2:10 separating the race leader. Michael Firth going to bring home a phenomenal race win in the silvers and an overall podium in the race. But into the final 2 corners is Stachecki in the McLaren that's going to hold on to this. 4 wins in a row for Stachecki. What a season he's having, what a race he's had. Stachecki and Keddy, 2:10 separated them across the line. In 3rd place overall, it is Michael Firth. Floppy Fox in the Ferrari, 3rd place overall and a race win in the Silvers. In fact, if you all open your windows, that screaming and squealing and cheering noise you can hear, that's Michael Firth. Real life. Alex Zagdal is going to finish in 4th overall. It's going to be 3rd in the pros though, so I'm not sure if he had an incident or what happened. Let's jump back down and watch some more of the battles as they commence, or as they come to a close. Villa is going to come home 2nd in the Silvers. He's got Alaquia looking to take his position overall in the closing stages. Looks like he will fend them off. Canton will get 3rd. Let's see what happens with Nabili and Basolio. Sperla, he is going to lose that position then. 5 seconds of a gap. And Nabali goes side by side through the final corner then with Basolio. And they're going to go, yep, through the final 2 corners. Why not? Basolio closes right back in. What a drive for Simone Basolio. 1st to last to back up to 10th, 9th overall as he crosses the line. And he's in fact going to get 4th place in the pros. What a drive. Confirmation that Marco Vea did finish on the podium there in 2nd. There's a lot more drivers bringing the car home, but what a race that was. Absolute action from start to finish for round number 4 of the Pure Sim Gear GT3 Masters season number 11. Still to come, Oulton Park next time out, Zandvoort and Indianapolis. So yeah, some incredible racing still to come, but what a race that was. The stewards certainly earned their money this evening, as I am looking for this screen here. As we get confirmation there, Firthvey and Canton on the silver podium. 2 Ferraris and a BMW. And in the pros, it was a McLaren that brings home the race win. Mercedes, Marco Keddy in 2nd. And Alex Zagdal in the Aston Martin, bringing it home in 3rd place to round out the podium. What a race that was. You can go back and watch it all, of course, on YouTube. All of the Twitch channels are uploaded to YouTube as well, so a host of sim racing action to quench your appetite. So yeah, thank you to anyone that has jumped on the subscribe button this evening. If you haven't already, come on, you know you want to. Hit that bell and give the stream a thumbs up, like as well if you could. Thank you very much indeed. We're going to bring on some highlights. There's going to be a lot of them, I would surmise. But that was round number 4 of the Pure Sim Gear GT3 Masters Season 11. Pure Sim Gear is a business dedicated to sim racing racewear. They currently produce gloves and socks with specific sim racing features. Use code FRIENDS of FRL 15 for a discount. Let me pop that in the chat. For a discount at the checkout. So again, thank you very much to the sponsors. Thank you to everyone at FRL. As we can see there, yeah, lap 1 was certainly interesting time. Michael Firth, P3 overall. We were just talking about that there. Incredible drive, phenomenally well done. So yeah, congratulations on that one. But that's all we've got time for from this broadcast. As I say, we'll be back next week with Oulton Park. Make sure you tune in for that one. I mean, if Watkins Glen was this spicy, can you imagine what's happening with Oulton next week? The pros and the silvers, hopefully all back out on track together. And I will be here to take us through all of the action here on YouTube. My name has been John Wright, aka Double O Raven. It has been an absolute pleasure once again. I will leave you with the highlights running until the end. But until we meet again, thanks dude. Threaded the needle a bit on lap 1. Yeah, I'm going to go back and watch the replay myself as well. But yes, until The next broadcast, we're going to bring you more Formula Racing League action. Enjoy the highlights, stay safe, take it easy, and have a great rest of your night. Good night.